Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another alternate castover, this time with music. Just to add a little bit of production value here. It's great because, you know, it's a give and take. I add music as production value. Connor destroys his gamma by raising it too high or something. I don't know what he did here, but it's all fucked up. That's okay, it's YouTube. So, we are once again watching Connor play at 2x speed. StarCraft Alternate's final mission. Unthinkable. Yes, it is unthinkable that it took so many tests. This is the 8th test video he's had to make. That is even, I mean, he's probably played it more than that, but he's only sent me 8 videos. So he's kept me busy. I've kept myself busy. And there's been a couple of small layout changes to the base. You may notice minerals are in a bit of a different spot. Gas, well, Nexus is close to the gas. Gas itself didn't move. Ramp has been extended a little bit more to the left. And some buildings have changed positions. But otherwise, it's not so much of a difference. It's really just some quality of life stuff. So, the main changes this version saw was increasing AI aggression when it comes to defense in such a way that it rewards aggression from the player. So, how do I explain this exactly? Basically, there's a function in AI called help if trouble. Help if trouble tells the AI that if I'm in trouble, I should ask my allies for assistance. So allied AI will then send some of their defense forces to that AI, whoever has help if trouble. And so I've made it so that this AI, all of the AI in this mission that are allied against you, so not Orange, everybody but Orange, requests assistance from all of the other AI, because you can't turn it on selectively. We don't have an opcode for that just yet. Well, sad canon. We don't have an opcode for that just yet, so what we have to do is basically it's like a binary thing. Either no allies defend me, or all allies defend me. It's not really, you can't really have anything in between. Again, just yet. We're working on it, or somebody's working on it, allegedly. But until we have that, we can't actually do anything about it. So, I wanted to reward aggression a little bit more. I made blue scale with their elite units. I talked about that concept in the first castover. But they do have elite units. They're no longer pre-placed. Instead, they have a warp gate, which we'll hopefully see Connor destroy in this video. And that will, yes, that has something to do with where their elites come from. I don't know the lore of this campaign, but UD Commander said that that's what that's where they come from. That's where he wanted me to make the AI requisition them from, so I did so. Now, outside of that small little sample, they don't use them for defense. They don't even use them for attacks later on. But they do occasionally, well, they train them slowly throughout the game. Until about the 10 or 15 minute mark, somewhere in that range, is when they finally cease such things, such activities. I'm not sure why Connor's layering his cannons that way. Maybe it has something to do with just making them dedicated to hit melee units or something. Guess we'll find out if it poses to be useful at all. Blue does attack with some fire bats. And the previous attack timing I thought was kind of cool because he usually came in right as Mud left an attack. And that would require the player to sort of micro against Dark Swarm, because at that point Mud would have Dark Swarm or Defilers available to cast Dark Swarm. But I've since modified the attack timings a lot. This is actually the attack that I was just talking about. So normally this comes after a Mud attack, and there's a lot more than Mud Queens to start ensnaring you. There's like a Mud Defiler that Dark Swarms you. Yeah, there it is. So usually because the Defilers were already there to try to hit... Oh, actually there's a Mud attack here. So basically all that happened was that the Mud attacks comes after the blue attack now because of the attack changes, timing-wise. So I did this, and the reason why is this actually is not really meant to be that challenging for Connor. A player of Connor's skill should be able to comfortably destroy this map. You know, maybe they have to be paying attention, right? But they shouldn't have to play to the absolute best of their ability. This guy can go up to like 300 APM when he's really feeling it, when he's really focused. Probably above that, probably underselling his skill. He'll watch this and he'll be like, "What the fuck, man? Only 300 APM, mate. What the fuck is wrong with you, mate? You can't even speak like me, mate." Something like that. Pretty sure that's accurate. Orange is getting his dick cut off by all of the enemies, as is his job. I don't think he actually dies in this playthrough, in this particular video. If you are active enough on the map, you can keep him alive. And thus, AI will divert some of their attacks to him. I'm okay with that being the case, but I think UED Commander said he wanted them to die every single playthrough no matter what. Or like the vast, vast majority of playthroughs. So I may have to do some final tweaks to that. But otherwise, other than like Orange dying and some AIs not expanding 100% accurately, which is the latter of which has been fixed since this video has been produced, I think this map is basically final. So that's why I'm doing another cast over of it. Because I just finished doing some late changes that Connor is not going to show us here. But otherwise, this map is pretty much, you know, it's good to go. More or less final. Ah! Tanks! See, like, there was like 6 or 7 tanks. That attack would, like, freak people out if they were not used to AI scripts written by me or Necron or... I think even UD Commander has some attacks that are, like, 8 carriers or whatever. Well, they're probably pretty infrequent, whereas that's, like, a standard attack for me or something. Maybe I shouldn't have set this music to play at 1.25 times speed. It might be playing too fast. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. So there's still a fair number of attacks, which I'm appreciative of. So more and more of them will start to... Well, not more and more of them, but a fair number of them will divert to Orange, as long as Orange is alive. I made that cannon outpost in the top left in front of the Primal Zerg a bit more brittle in the most recent version that Connor did not play yet. So that probably has some decent gameplay impact. And I think this attack was actually meant to go for Orange's expansion, but got intercepted while preparing because of the way that the AI prepares stuff. I don't think I manually told him to do that. Maybe that was just an attack that they prepared normally, but... As you can see, the cannon outpost is pretty close to being annihilated right now by red, but we're already 20k frames in, which is about a little before 15 minutes, I think. Because remember, 14,400 is 10 minutes, right? So, I don't know what 20k would be after that. I can't do math. I think that's it's like 14 minutes or so. 15 minutes. We're entering into that range. I could just could have looked at the fucking time of the video. Would have told me roughly where we are. I don't know why I did all that unnecessary math. I really am tired. Making more work for myself. But, yeah. There you go. Connor's got a lot of gateways. He's ready to move on red. Wow, red hasn't even annihilated that upper base yet. How goofy. Shut up, Bixby, you fucking idiot.
Please unlock your phone first.
Dude, it actually read my voice so well there. It spelled every single word out perfectly. That's crazy. That's one of those cases where you wish your eyeballs were acting as the webcam, so that you could, like, cut to that in the middle of this castover, even though it has nothing to do with everything. So I'm actually surprised that there's not... Oh, actually, you know what? So what happens is you have to kill 5 or... I think it's like 3 or 4 factories. It kind of depends on per AI. Before the AI start to defend. Wow, he's doing a little jig, dude. Holy shit. That was a dancing cruiser. So because Red never set up his stuff at the front of the base, you're not really... Red's like actually an easy... deceptively easy target, yeah, to smash before the allies start to fuck them up. I don't know why Orange can see the player. Maybe they have an observer over there or something, but that's not really supposed to happen. Like, I don't know how they managed to get vision of that. That doesn't really... It's not very easily explained. But here, Connor is actually beaten back. He was distracted by some attacks from Blue and Mud, and Orange, I guess, one Dragoon. So he couldn't put all of his focus into killing Red, which is good. I mean, again, since Connor is head and shoulders above the target audience in terms of skill, I don't really feel bad about him, like, being able to keep Orange alive, being able to kill Red in just a few attacks. I know that this map will be decently challenging for the vast majority of the players that are going to play it. And so I'm not at all concerned about, you know, whether or not this is too easy, right? Connor makes a lot of maps that are not very easy for most people, including myself, look very easy. Like, I've died to this map so many times already. Usually because it's really late where I am by the time I'm actually playtesting it and not just editing scripts or whatever, so I can blame sleepiness. But generally it's probably not sleepiness, it's probably just I'm an idiot. One thing I was thinking about playing around with is whether or not I should bother trying to increase the amount of resources that are in the mineral fields in some of these expansions and bases. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Ah! That's pretty funny. Where's he going? I don't know what he's doing. He's a maniac. He's getting broodlinged. Ah. Destroyed. So, yep. Red is basically out of the picture now. Some last-ditch mutas. Gonna tickle some dragoons. He's got a lot of units. He should be able to move on Mud next, or whoever he wants to move on to. Hopefully we get to see that phalanx of insane number of Primal Wardens, static defense owned by Yellow, pretty soon. Orange is basically out of the picture at this point. Like, they do have that base, but they don't really have very many resources at this point, so they're not going to be able to send too many attacks out there. Their attacks are going to be pretty small. I think they have a carrier or something. The minimap looked really strange over there. That's a pretty good storm. Oh, that's another pretty good one. Yeah, just take all my tanks. Thank you. I almost feel like I should be able to use idle orders to program siege tanks to focus down High Templar with high energy or something. Obviously, it would have to be a pretty reasonable rate of fire so that the AI didn't just do that every single time. But we don't really have too many opcodes for that. We'd probably need something completely different for something like that than idle orders. Idle orders is what basically replaces most spell casting. You're not really going to use it for orders, besides, like, you know, telling the computer to send wounded battlecruisers back to a base or something. Here comes Mud with his allies, Blue, his brothers in arms, here to lock down every one of Connor's Dragoons. I almost said Dragoon's Connors, so you know I'm pretty tired. Hi. Okay, bye. Those don't have an attack. Otherwise, it would make sense for that to be silly. So, for sure, Mud is now requesting help from its allies. So it's actually going to be interesting to see if Connor's phalanx of cannons gets set up in time before Yellow and Green come to the rescue of Mud. Yellow's amazing attacks of about 10 supply. Can thank you, ED Commander, for requesting that. Oh no! A battlecruiser. I also requested an opcode called Exit Range. It's supposed to basically be like an AI control or some sort of AI command that would tell the AI to leave things like Psystorm or Disruption Web or Dark Swarm. Basically these area of effect status effects. Even Irradiate, like irradiated targets, they would try to keep distance. A little ways to make the AI a bit more tactical. You can obviously see a lot of immediate downsides or potential downsides to that, where if you're not careful, the AI will like try to spin into a fucking corner or something, which obviously you don't want, but it's not really that big of a deal. Oh, Yamato. Cross map Yamato, dude. That's something where you'd have to figure out for yourself if it was a worthwhile endeavor to bother using that sort of opcode. Like, I guess Disruption Web in particular, right? That's not really... Oh, BRB. Okay. See you when you get back, Connor. Exit range is one of those things where if you're exiting Disruption Web and running into a wall, you're basically still disabling your own brain, so at that point it's not really that useful. It would almost have to take into account like pathability and how accessible it is. It's definitely something that's harder to nail down than just a flat, if I'm this many pixels inside Dark Swarm, leave, or, you know. But it's an interesting design problem to attempt to solve. Hi. You have some battlecruisers tickling you. I can't believe Brown actually built battlecruisers. It only took him 40k frames. Which I'm not doing the math for, but you can if you want. Gotcha, it's 29 minutes. Well, some of that was pause time. We'll say 28. Oh, man. Divide by 1440 to get the real-time minutes. Hey! Hey, battlecruiser! Hey! Hey, wake up, idiot! Oh, well, he's gone. Nope, he went all the way to orange. Wait, where is he? What is he doing? What a maniac. So I do like that Connor is actually required to remax a few times. That is more in line with the original idea for the mission. I am appreciative of that. Wow, what a dickhead. Look at all these hatcheries, dude. It's almost like he's playing against a real opponent or something. Not really. It's still meant for StarCraft Remastered, so. Afraid that is not the case. Now, who will he go for next is the question. See, if this were a more aggressive AI as opposed to a more defensive AI that he was fighting, just in general, what I would like to do is make it so that they like really try to pressure your expansions and stuff. Maybe some AI specialized or attempted to specialize in targeting your expansions, whereas some were more of the frontal assault, some more harass-oriented, where they're really just trying to hit your worker line, not necessarily destroy your structures. But, you know, stuff that you would anticipate a real player might end up trying to do, right? So I could see a realm where that is possible, actually. There's the warp gate. Very epic. Thank you, Kanye. Very cool. So, I'm not really sure what else this map would benefit from at this point. Maybe somebody can give me some ideas before I hand over the reins entirely to UED Commander, which will happen very soon. But really, at this point, I think, you know, you're seeing a very high-level player compared to the other players that are going to end up playing. You're seeing one of those guys. One of those guys attempt to clear it. And he's doing a pretty decent job, I think. He's not really going to be... I don't think he's going to be that challenged by anything else in the map. Maybe he'll have a tough time cracking blue open. He's got a lot of static defense placed over here. But once that warp gate is destroyed, he can't retrain any of his elite units, which is pretty important. Yellow's giving him a hard time. Those are like the counterattack, slow trickle of random units that are trying to help defend, basically. Gotta get those photon cannons set back up. I think he said he wiped the entire map in this playthrough, so we should be able to see those insane number of static defenses. Blue trying to set up his own expansion again. Very cheeky. But yeah, at this point, Connor should have things in the bag, I think. See, the problem here is, I think I talked about this in the first castover, but it bears repeating, because I have nothing else to talk about right now anyway. The issue with maps like these is that at some point, you enter into a point of no return where you're not going to be challenged by the remaining AI. You would have to literally AFK and stop A-moving. But you still have to play in order to win. And so things stop engaging you after a certain point. So I guess you could call that pacing, you know, map pacing, difficulty pacing. It's one of those things that's really difficult to try and handle without significant rewrites to the script and without moving it to 161. And so because that's the case, ultimately, you know, it doesn't really feel like it's super likely that I'm going to be able to find a way to do that. That keeps it working with Remastered. But UD Commander said he was fairly satisfied with the way that it turned out. And I'm hoping that the player base is also ends up enjoying the end result of a really nice, massive, large-scale romp, macro-based romp, where you have to expand a lot, you have to fight a lot of AI. I think that'll be cool. And there might still be some balancing stuff, like I mentioned earlier, but it's mostly done. And that's always nice. Even if it isn't as good as you could have made it. You know, you learned something from putting it together. Hopefully you taught some other people something about just how it ended up working out. Based on the developer materials, like you streaming the production of it, which is what I did here. You doing some castovers of players playing it, which is what I'm doing now. And leaving behind the assembly of it all. Hey, you know what, Bixby? You shut the fuck up. Why is that even... I thought I turned that off. I don't even think you can turn it off. Or maybe it updated itself and turned it back on. SMH. I forget what I was talking about. Yeah, I hope people were able to glean something useful and enjoyable over this. production, over the production of this map, because it really does take a, you know, even though it's not like a 161 map where you're manually placing all of the buildings. I did manually place, I think, most of the units, if not, I would say the vast majority of the units were manually placed. They're just not in the map. So there's that. And it does require a fair bit of work to assemble it all, even if it's not, even if I'm not like super satisfied with the end product to my own personal, I don't know if you would call it standards. I guess you could call it standards, but it's also like the kind of gameplay I like is dealing with AI that are also starting off on the same foot as I am. For one, that's not really possible in Remastered. For another, generally speaking, it's not what UED Commander wanted out of this. He wanted something that was a bit more set in stone in that way. Not necessarily set in stone. That's probably the wrong way to put it, but you get the idea, right? So it'll be interesting to see what the final cut of this looks like. And obviously that won't even really be the final cut, like whatever he makes with it, because eventually I've got to do the voice acting of every fucking character in the entire game. So that'll be fun. And I mean that genuinely. I'm not being facetious. I actually am looking forward to doing that. That'll be very entertaining. Uh-oh, no static defense here. Zerg here? Where the Zerg at, dude? So now he's trying to push into Brown while also trying to push into the Primals pretty soon. The reason why there haven't been too many attacks is because the actual individual attacks of everything are quite large, especially Brown. Brown has very long waits. Yellow has pretty long waits as well and not very heavy volume of units. So it feels like there's a lot of attacks in the early game and then it just falls off. But the AI still do attack. It's just that once you kill 3 out of the 6 AI, you've killed half the AI, then half the attacks are going to be going at you. They do sort of speed up, or at least, I don't think they speed up overall in terms of the frequency of attacks, but the volume, like the strength of them, does increase. So maybe that could be something that might end up being tweaked. I was also thinking that there should probably be a command like, well, I guess I could just remove the requests. I do have remove build. But you see like the billions of SCVs holy shit, I really can't speak. J-Burrinoing that refinery. And that obviously looks really silly. It would be nice to be able to remove that. But the only way you can do that right now is by doing remove build and then doing get old peons in a later situation. And the odds of the AI expanding after they've already depleted that and sent all of their workers onto a refinery, pretty low. So I'm not really sure what the solution to that would be then. It would probably be something like, you know, an actual new command that would Maynard the workers to another area. If there was another mining area. Even if they weren't actually requested, it would remove them from the main town and wouldn't add them to the new town that they were going to. So that if they were killed, they wouldn't actually be moved around. I don't even remember if I put a victory condition in here. I don't think I did. So Connor will wipe the entire map and then say SMH. Now once the bioreactors end up dying, the static defense go with them. But Connor doesn't have any shuttles, I don't think. There's the static defense, or some of it. It must be a small amount. There's going to be a lot more in the northern area. Random Ahmed. Oh, I gotta add Akhmensk. That's funny. That's another good one I should add. But yes, I have to add Akhmensk. I don't know where he's going to be. I was thinking of doing some crazy shit like waiting until you have to destroy like certain structures in a sequence. Oh shit! They're using them to attack. You better watch out. Psychotic. Oh, GG. All right, well he's done. So there you go. He didn't even see all of this random shit from yellow, but he got there, man. He did it. Good job, Connor. So I guess that's really everything, man. The map overall is pretty much close to completion at that point. It should serve as a reasonable challenge for the average StarCraft player. And Connor, you know, it took him about 45, 48 minutes, somewhere in that range. And yeah, thanks for all your tests, Connor. Hope you found the videos enjoyable, viewer, and hope UED Commander gives me a kiss or something. I don't know.